let's do this. So we are live today, Lab Coat Agents with the one and only Ken Pozek. I did say your last name correctly, right, Ken?
Pozek, it's close enough.
Pozek. Oh man, I was watching your videos over and over so I could make sure I said your name right. So Ken is out of Orlando, Florida, and has created a pretty amazing business using YouTube. He uses video in all sorts of areas of his business, which he will tell you about. We'll even play some of his videos, and we'll tell you about some actual results he's gotten from creating these videos. And it really hasn't been that long that you've been making videos. So when did you really get serious about making videos, Ken?
About 2 years ago, like end of 2017, I started shooting a lot of them on my cell phone and just kind of uploading to YouTube. I just was looking at some other agents and creators around the country, and I was like, you know what, I kind of suck at this, but I'm going to try it, right? Like, why not? And then after a few months, we started getting leads, and then I was like, okay, like let's lean in harder. So about a year ago is when we went really all in, and I've got videographer now and all that good stuff.
Awesome. And we'll cover budget, what you need as you scale up. We'll kind of do some content for people who are beginners with video, middle of the road, doing a little video, and people who are already advanced. We'll give some tips for each person. So you just said you started getting leads with YouTube. This is the part that some people watching are probably either they get this or they're still like, does this really work? In 2019, what sort of traffic or volume did you generate from your YouTube videos?
So between closed and pending, because we had some new construction kind of hold over, we did like $200,000 in GCI directly from YouTube leads that we got.
All right, that's incredible. You did 200,000 GCI directly from YouTube. So that doesn't count the reuse of this video for other segments of your business, right? With database and Sphere, this is straight off YouTube. What does that look like when you get a YouTube lead? Like, what does that mean in your world?
And so that's somebody who's reaching out and they say, listen, I watched all your stuff. I'm interested in moving to X town and it looks like you're the man there. So I want to work with you. And so the cool thing is there's some of the best leads that we have in the industry. I mean, like, you've got Zillow leads and Realtor.com leads. People reach out maybe to get, more information about a listing, but they're also reaching out to 5 or 6 other agents. Man, this is, they've called you, they know you, like you, trust you already. And they're like, hey, we want to buy or sell. And it's been a game changer in a lot of different ways. Obviously the leads are great, but there's a lot of different facets to the video that's just been fantastic.
Wow. All right, cool. So just to give people a context, total business 2019, how many deals did you guys do?
We did 153 sides for 46 million and just under 1.3 million in GCI.
Awesome, which is fantastic. All right, and I was going deep into your YouTube channel. Before we dive into that, I had asked you before we started, top 4 sources of business. So out of those 153 transactions, what were the top 4 sources that they came from? Yes,
we had like database channel account, sort of like, normal Sphere business was our biggest one. And then we had agent referrals, farming, and then YouTube.
Love it. And we're going to work through how video kind of ties into all that, but we'll focus mainly on YouTube today. So to get started, do you have any videos? I mean, I went to your YouTube channel. You got, 1,700 subscribers there. Yep. What's your main goal these days when you go to YouTube and you say, all right, do I have a strategy, or do you start posting stuff? Where do you start?
Yeah. So like at this point, we're doing 2 things. One is like discoverability type videos. So like people that, more broad spectrum, like, we did a coffee review. We did just kind of like different stuff that is good entertainment, but maybe isn't somebody that's like, hey, I want to buy or sell with this guy because of this video. So you'll notice some of that on our channels. And then we're also doing lead gen videos. So very specific SEO focused, keyword focused, making sure that when anybody Googles moving to Celebration, moving to Orlando, moving to all these different towns around here, that we pop up in the Google results. For those of you that don't know, YouTube is owned by Google. And so when you go Google stuff, if there's a good video about it, Google's going to show you that. They're not going to show you Vimeo. They're not going to show you Facebook. They're going to show you their own stuff. And so for us, it's been, a great way to get in front of new clients without having to spend a ton of money.
I love it. And when did you really go deep in those strategies? Was it just in the last year?
Yeah, about 18 months or so, I would say. We, really started trying to figure out the craft and really became more of a student of it, and following other YouTubers that are doing it, calling other agents across the country, just diving in as much as possible. So I would say over the past 6 months, we really started diving into it to where we're getting very consistent leads, like 1 a day.
Interesting. And do you think it has to do with the fact that you've just been putting out enough content over time, or is it a certain specific video that always, draws most of your traffic?
No, I mean, it's consistency over time. It's like anything with this business, man. It's, if you're going to be a farmer, right? Like we do farming, and you send out a postcard once and you don't get a call and you stop. It's the same thing with YouTube, right? You put out one video and then most people stop. It's like that second video that's almost the most important, because then you start to get some momentum. So it takes a few months or a few different amount of videos before you start getting some traction, and then after that it starts to pick up. Yeah,
I love it. And for people who are watching, you're pretty comfortable on camera. You're just you. I've watched enough of your videos. I see you right now. Were you always comfortable on camera, or did you have to get used to it?
I hid my first probably 40 videos. Like you can't even see them on my channel anymore. They're so bad. But no, it was like, it's like anything. Like, I think that, so to get comfortable on video, you have to do more of it, right? So it's like calling expireds or calling your sphere, or anything that is worth doing takes time. And so getting on Snapchat, getting on Instagram, going live on Facebook, the more you can get in front of video, the better. But like, for me, just grab your cell phone, get out, start touring models. If you have to restart it a couple times, who cares? Throw it up on YouTube, and then, get smart on the keywords and the thumbnail, and you're going to do well.
So that's the beginner tip for people watching. There's no shortcut besides practicing it. Yeah. Unfortunately, just like anything else. All right, so let's go to more specific things then. Let's maybe check out one of your videos if you have a favorite in mind. You have some videos that have, a couple thousand views. You have some that have like 40,000 views on them. Is that all organic? Is there paid traffic behind some of those?
So there's one here. Let's see. Share computer sign. Let's try.
Yeah, if you want to share your screen, let's play one of these. You can kind of share a bit of the video and talk about it. I'd love to see some examples of what's working for you.
You see my screen?
Let's see. Yep.
Let's move this out of the way.
Got it.
All right, cool. So the one that we do really, really well with is Celebration, Florida. And so you'll notice that one has like 77,000 views. And let's see here. My channel. All right, so yeah, you guys can see a little bit.
The data. Oh. And we lost him. All right, it's me talking about YouTube until he comes back. I don't know where he went. Dan, if you are still here, if you want to reach out to Ken, I think we ended up crashing it. So I will show you my screen while he is waiting. Let me pull up my screen here, and I will share you guys his channel while we are waiting. Let's see here. All right, share screen. All right, so you guys should be able to see my screen while he's coming up. So one of the interesting things that I noted when I was checking out Ken's page, Ken's YouTube channel again here, he's got 1,700 subscribers. I was curious to dive in whether his goal is to get subscribers or just to put out the content. Or if that just happens organically. One thing you'll see here on his page though.
Hi, I'm Ken Pozek, real estate agent here in Orlando, Florida.
This video autoplays whenever you go to his page. It's a really good 1-minute video. I'll just let it roll while he comes, we try to get him back on the page here. But I think this is a fantastic intro video. If you want an example of a template that you can use to basically show, hey, here's how to introduce yourself. I think it's a fantastic 1-minute example.
Hi, I'm Ken Pozek, real estate agent here in Orlando, Florida. And there's a few things that I'm just okay at, like juggling and playing the guitar. But at least I suck at tennis. And don't get me started on basketball. Hit me. But there is one thing that I am very good at, which is selling real estate. How do I know? Well, hundreds of my team and I's past clients have left us 5-star reviews on Google, Facebook, Realtor.com, Zillow, Angie's List, Yelp, and Google.
You already said Google.
I know. She might say, well, Ken, do 5-star reviews even matter? Well, you wouldn't eat from a 1-star sushi restaurant, would you? Or get your haircut by a 2-star Karen.
Honey, sit back. Let me do what I do.
I don't think so. So give me a call today. If you're looking to buy or sell a house anywhere in the Orlando area, I'll use my decade of experience to save you time, money, and we'll have fun in the process. I look forward to talking to you soon.
All right.
That was a time for my for me to update apparently my computer.
Hey, I filled time. I figured you'd come back.
You're an absolute rock star. I tell you what.
Dude, I played your own video talking about yourself, which I wanted to play anyway.
Good,
so,
all right, good.
So let's just start talking about that one first before we dive into the other video you're going to show. I played your intro, the "Hi, I'm Ken video, which is I think is one of the better 1-minute intro videos I've seen. Did you was that a template from somewhere else? Ideas you had in your mind? What sort of feedback do you get on that video?
Yeah, so there was another agent in the Tom Ferry system that I was just like that he showed at the summit, and I was like, it's similar to like, here's what I'm good at, here's what I'm not good at. I'm like, man, I could do that. I'm terrible at a lot of things. And so, so let's try it out. And so I interviewed a lot of different local production companies, and I was just like, hey, listen, I want to get just like a rock star 1-minute video. And I wrote the script and did everything myself and went from there. So it's been good, really good.
Because it shows your personality. It shows that you're professional. And it shows, I mean, it's just, it really covers in 1 minute, it covers a lot of stuff. What was the, if you can share the budget on that video?
It was $2,000.
Cool. Awesome. And do you find that people reference that specific video, or you just know they've watched it because when they're consuming one, they're consuming everything else on your YouTube channel?
They mention it all the time. So that's what I send to, like, we're all in these groups where people are looking for referrals, right? Going on, hey, I've got an Orlando referral, I've got a San Diego referral. And like, hey, listen, this is just a little bit about me. I sell a lot of houses here, but would love to help any way I can. I send that, and the agents are like, dude, that's freaking awesome. You seem like you know what you're doing. Like, I'm gonna go with you, right? And so that's like one of our agent referral strategies right there. So but then I send it to pre-listing appointment. I send it pre-buyer appointment. It's just gets to know me a little bit to where they feel like they can kind of pick up my vibe before we meet.
I love it. And it separates you from everyone else, especially when going for agent referrals or also meeting with local clients. I love it.
Yeah, right on. So
while you want to show the other video you were going to show before?
Yeah, right on. Let me show this here. Tristan's texting me like, we lost you. You're a dummy. Sorry, bro. All right, here we go.
I'll tell him you're back.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's see. All right, can you see this here, YouTube?
I do.
All right, cool. All right, so like our #1 video that we were able to get, we get the most amount of business from. We get a lead probably every single week, just on this one specific video, is this tour of Celebration, Florida, and so it's got 78,000 views on it. And it's basically just me walking around the town. So
agent and homeowner here in Celebration, Florida. And today I'm going to give you sort of a tour that includes a top 10 list of things that maybe you didn't know about Celebration in this iconic town. So come on, let's take a look. All right, so thing #1 about Celebration is that we actually aren't owned and run by Disney. Many people think that because we live here, obviously we might get free annual passes or something like that, but it actually was designed and thought of by Disney, but Disney does not maintain control other than a few things, which we'll talk about in a minute.
All right, so basically it's a top 10 list, right? I walk around the town and I say, hey, listen, here's what I know about the city. If you're thinking about moving here, these are things you're probably asking, and let me solve those things for you, right? And that's pretty much the whole video. And at the end, the call to action is, hey, if you're thinking of buying or selling, I want to be your real estate resource of choice. Reach out. My number is, my email is, and people reach out all the time.
Dude, I love it. And before you change your screen, let's get nerdy for a minute. Look over in the right-hand side where it says tags.
Yeah.
Okay, walk us through. I mean, we probably have some YouTube pros, but a lot of people are probably looking at that going, what does that mean? What's over there? Walk us through what's over there on that side.
Yeah, so this is just an add-on analytics kind of tool that I use in terms of picking up what keywords I want to go after. And so they're basically showing us over here, hey, essentially that there's 33,000 people searching every single month for Celebration, Florida. And then underneath it, Celebration FL, Celebration Disney, South Village, which is like one of the villages within Disney, Celebration Homes for Sale. So I can actually see, like, is this video actually going to catch fire? Is it going to have traction? And then we're going to build our tags and our keywords, our title, our description, everything kind of around what people are already searching for, right? I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm not trying to create a market out of nothing. I want to go to where the puck is already, or where it's heading, right? And so I know that this many people are actually going to reach out and look, so why not?
Yeah, I love it. And one of the people watching, Brian, just asked, where do you get that analytic tool?
It's called Keywords Everywhere. It's a semi-free it's like a freemium kind of deal. The basic tool is free. And then if you want to really dive in, I think it's like $10 a year. It's really, really cheap.
Cool. And are you doing that yourself in terms of, crafting these campaigns? Are you outsourcing this?
I am. I'm doing it all myself. Yeah. All the campaigns and that sort of thing. So that specific video though, it's got 78,000 views. 20,000 of them are organic and about 55,000 of them are paid for. And so I essentially use Google ads to drive traffic. So and it's like, I've got a very small budget on it. It's like 90 or $100 a month. And anytime anybody searches into YouTube Celebration Florida or any of those keywords that you just saw over on the right, my video is going to pop up in the discovered area. And yeah, we get a lot of traffic that way.
I love it. And my Florida geography is not the best in terms of celebration. I'm assuming that some people watching that video, if they are home buyers, end up buying, like you just said, right, living near Disney World. They end up buying in towns that are surrounding it. They're curious about celebration, but they end up buying in surrounding areas, correct?
Yeah, exactly. And I think the more hyper local you can get with a lot of these videos, I mean, the ones that call me about that video want to buy or sell in that area, in that town.
In celebration. In
celebration, yeah. I mean, it's like 4,000 homes, right? And it's kind of well known. Like if you're into Disney, you're going to know what celebration is. So yeah, something to pay attention to.
Love it.
Here's another one I just launched. This was like 2 days ago I launched it. It's already got 500 completely organic views. A couple things about this. I don't know how, I'm sure you've got a path that you want to take people down, but like a couple of things that I've gotten a lot better at.
No, I want to go on your path. I want to get a little sneak peek into your mind. Let's just do this to take us down this path.
It's full of ADD. But here, so if you'll notice, like some of my older videos kind of had pretty crappy thumbnails. I didn't really know what I was doing. And then that was like, a year ago. And then over the past year, I've kind of figured out that, listen, probably half of your traffic or 30, 40% of your traffic is going to come from good thumbnails, because you got to think people are scrolling through the app and they're going to stop on what's appealing to them. So I've gotten a lot better at these thumbnails. And so like this one, living near Disney World, right? So I looked at, what I started with was I typed in my competition and I said, okay, so living near Disney World, what does my competition thumbnails look like, right? They're also kind of crappy. And so, but mine, here it is mine already on the first page here. It sticks out, right?
Totally sticks out. I love it.
And so I started focusing on that over the past few months, and our traffic has almost doubled just from that one tactic. And so paying really close attention to your thumbnails is going to be very important.
So go back to the competition. Do you have that back there? Let's see. Go back one.
Oops. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
On the Magical Express, and you thought
There we go.
I love it. So yours absolutely stands out on there, right? And is there a format or a template that you're borrowing from in terms of any other genres, industries, or is that just something like simple image, clean background, bold words with an outline?
Yeah, so stealing from, a lot like, Mr. Beast, looking at just, a lot of other big YouTubers and seeing what they're doing, and they're just kind of stealing their stuff. I use Canva or PicMonkey, one of the two, whichever one I'm vibing that day. But yeah, the whole idea, they say, is just a few words on the thumbnail, be able to see the whites of your eyes, have a kind of a clear directive, and then have it match up with, your title, and you're good to go.
I love it. Love it. Any other little tips and tricks while we're in the tips and tricks phase of this thing as you're going through? Because show us some of your other thumbnails before, because I noticed an evolution of your thumbnails as you went through them.
On the Magical Express, and you thought.
Yep. So.
Hi, I'm Ken Pozek.
Sorry. I think I've done this before. Hold on. Videos. Yeah. So like this top line here. This like moving to Orlando one, right? Like I'm holding Orlando behind me. It just says, 2 weeks ago, 1,400 organic views. Yeah, we're starting to get a lot better. Like that 2019 was insane, right? Like it stands out a lot more than this new construction one I did a few months ago. Yeah. And so I'm actually going to be going back through now and redoing a lot of my thumbnails, because I know I'm going to get more traffic that way.
Love it. So keeping the same video, just literally redoing the thumbnail to it.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing about YouTube. Like it's all trial and error. Like none of us, I don't anyways, have it figured out 100%. And so what I'll tell you is like creating content, being consistent, and then go out there and fail is going to be one of the best pieces of advice I can give you, because you're going to figure out along the way that like, oh, wow, I should be doing my thumbnails this way. Or, you know what, I didn't really even think about keywords when I was coming up with my title and my description. I'm going to go back and change those, right? It's really like user-friendly and really very forgiving of a platform to where you can go back and consistently improve.
Yeah, I love it. So we got a bunch of questions. I'm going to throw a couple of these in and we'll kind of spray. If you guys are asking questions, keep asking them. I will ask Ken as many of these as possible. So while we're on the topic of thumbnails, before we move on, Brian was just asking, are you taking screenshots from the video and then editing that picture to make a thumbnail, or are you taking other images? Where are you pulling together your images from? That doesn't matter. So
up until just last month, I was just grabbing a screenshot and then throwing it into PicMonkey and creating it that way. Now we actually, like, it's on we have a checklist now that we go through in terms of like, we do an outline of the video, what it's going to have, a few of the B-roll shots we want, and then at the end, don't forget to take a thumbnail. So that's something that we're a lot more cognizant of now. Love it. All right. And now in terms of how people are reaching out to you, calls to action, things like that, do you put calls to action, or do people just mainly reach out to you directly? Yeah, so it's mostly reaching out direct. I've tried a little bit of everything from like, you know, hey, if you want the top 10 mistakes buyers make when doing new construction, go to this website, download this form. And I just found that the more pieces you put between them and I, the less conversion we had. Like, we had very, very few people ever do any of these call to actions. That's number one. Number two is that if you keep pushing people off and saying like, leave YouTube to go to this website, like YouTube doesn't like that. Like, they want people to stay on the platform as long as possible. So I was not wanting to be the guy that kept sending them off of YouTube. So yeah, it's essentially they're calling us or going to our website, and then we ask them, obviously, how did you hear about us? But if they're on email, they're almost always saying, hey, I've watched your videos. I think they're fantastic. I'm looking to do X, Y, and Z. So the two ways they're mainly picking up the phone and calling you, or just shooting you an email. Yeah. I love it. Keep it simple. Easy. How long did you play with the other ones that you, just before you decided the other methods didn't work? A year. I love it. All right, let's see here. More questions here, unless you got something we want to go to. Let's see, so many questions here. Are you on a team? Oh, equipment. By the way, I mentioned my train. You can hear my train out the window. Yeah. Right. Now I could point the camera out and watching it go by. Let's talk briefly on equipment, then we'll go back to actual content for the videos, spend some more time on the content, because you make such good videos. So equipment for people starting out, you said you started literally with your iPhone, right? Yeah. It was an iPhone, at the time it was an iPhone 10 and a DJI Osmo 1. So like the first gimbal they ever made. I think you can still get them. It's still probably my favorite because it shoots in landscape anyways. They've got a 2 and a 3 that shoots in portrait. Like, if you want to do a lot of more like IG and Snapchat kind of stuff, you can do that. Yeah, it was super simple. So my phone, a gimbal, and iMovie on my Mac. And it was just me, you know, I'd do a full day at the office, put the kids to bed, kiss my wife, go edit video. And I did that for like 6 months. And budget on that being time, right? Just your time. Yeah, exactly. A couple $100 for the gear. I love it. Okay, so as you progress, did you wait till you started getting traction, or did you just decide, I love this, I'm going all in, I'm going to make it work? Yeah, I'm pretty protective over like revenue. Like, I don't do much that if I'm not getting a really good ROI. And so so for me, it was like, hey, we finally had a couple closings, and now I can invest in an editor, you know, like get my time back. And so I started paying somebody like $80 a video. I'd still go shoot everything. And then I would just upload the video to Dropbox. She would edit it and send it back. And so now I'm picking up an hour of my time back every video. Love it. Okay, so $80 a video, you were outsourcing it for editing. And now at this point, as you've scaled, how many videos are you doing per month? And what's your setup like these days? Yeah, so now I have somebody who essentially, we've worked out a very agreeable salary. He shoots two Thursdays a month, every other Thursday. So tomorrow we're going out and shooting for like 5 hours. We'll put together 3 pieces of content. And so our goal is to put together 6 to 8 pieces of content a month at this point. Some of that is client facing, some of that's for agent referrals, some of that's for, back office kind of stuff to help our clients understand the process better. And so, yeah, we've got essentially a flat fee that we've worked out to kind of come up with all of that. And yeah, if you guys want to, salary wise, I don't want to share that. No. We don't get that. I'm just giving people it's way cheaper than you'd think in terms of being able to hire somebody and get really, really good quality.
Yeah, I mean, just even like $80 to outsource editing post-production on a video is very reasonable. But where do you, if you were to start to look at just, one-off sending it out to an editor, where would you find a good editor? Where would you find yours?
I found mine on ZipRecruiter. So I was basically just like, hey, looking for an editor that's willing to do X, Y, and Z. Basically, you just drop in an intro, outro, take out my ums, and throw in, lower third titles and put some audio over it. What would you charge me? And then, by the way, send me your highlight reel. And I had literally hundreds of people that responded to that ad. And it was just me, spending, a few hours going through highlight reels, saying these guys know what the heck they're doing, and then shooting off sort of, this is my expectations. What do you think? What would you charge me? And on average, it was somewhere between like 60 and $100 to edit a video. And so there's really no reason why you guys can't be implementing this and getting some really good ROI.
Dude, I love it. I love it. All right. Do you have any lessons you've learned that we haven't covered? Things that people, if they're about to dive into the world of YouTube video, any lessons where you're like, oh man, do this or don't do that?
Yeah, I mean, this is all about consistency, because for one, you're going to get better over time. And so that's huge, but then being consistent, to be able to get leads, that's the only way you're going to win. And so I would say, like, don't even start unless you're willing to commit to this for 5 to 6 months, before you start to see something back. But I promise you that you'll start getting a better traction with your current database, because you're going to take the same videos and send them to your database every week. And now that's your touch for the week, right? We have like 50 touch program with our database, and most of it's around video, right? So you're going to immediately start to see some increase in business that way. But then over time, it's worth it. So consistency over everything.
I love it. How about in terms of if someone were to start, if you want to go back and maybe we'll play one more example of a video, would you say start with doing the hyper local stuff, start with something, where would you direct someone to start? Do you have an example of a video you'd show in terms of that campaign?
Yeah, I mean, I would say by far, like, hyper local, the better, because Google, you might not get as many views. And let's say, views are a vanity metric. Like, I love seeing that our videos are catching fire, but more than anything, leads are what matter. And so if you go very hyper local, long tail keywords, so for me, it's Ashton Woods, Latham Park, so the builder, the neighborhood, and the model. And I do a walkthrough on that. If anybody Googles that, I'm number one by far, by a mile. I outrank the builder, I outrank, everybody. And so I would start there. If you have a decent production builder in your neighborhood, in your area, you just go talk to the on-site sales rep and say, hey, I want to shoot some videos to send out to buyers. Is that cool? They're going to say, please, go shoot it, go crazy. You could do like 5 in a day and then just release those out. And so hyper local, and then expand from there.
And so then you have buyers who watch them online and then come for new construction and then reach out directly to you. In your area, I'm assuming though, you have to be the agent who actually shows up with the buyer on site to register them on your first visit, correct?
That's true.
So are people typically watching these videos before they even go out to the models to look?
It's a little bit of both. So sometimes they've already been there, but here's the deal. Like, if you've already been to on-site, you've met the on-site salesperson, and you say, hey, listen, I'm going to send this to buyers. And then you come back and say, hey, I had some buyers, they called me, they want to work with me. They're going to want to work with you, right? You've already built rapport. It's not like you just dropped in out of the sky and you're like, hey, you've already got a deal going. I want to get in the middle of it. Like,
totally.
That's not it, right? I mean, it is, it's building relationships through all this as well.
I love that. And if you go to your channel, I mean, I can share my screen if you want to share yours. I mean, you have a ton of those videos that you created.
Yeah.
And so is that one? Go ahead.
No, yeah, we still get calls on those, and so it's, hey, that neighborhood's closed now, or that model doesn't exist anymore, but there's something similar to it, right? So you can see my first year on YouTube was all model home tours until we started getting some ROI and we were able to reinvest in some other stuff.
I love it. And it wasn't that you were going for a huge view count. I think that's a big philosophy shift for certain people, is you're not going for views. You really are truly using YouTube to generate leads. And so it's not view count. You want people to reach out to you as a lead.
Yeah. So think about that. So if somebody went and saw, the Toll Brothers Marino model, right, in this specific neighborhood, and 100 people watched that video, that's a pretty good pool of people that were willing to look that specifically, right? And if only 2 of those reached out, that's a huge deal, right? And so I think that's the big thing to pay attention to. View count it's a vanity metric.
Yeah. All right. One last thing. Someone just asked a question I wanted to go to anyway. You, again, like I said, you're very personal on camera. You seem to be very at ease. Do you create scripts, or are you using bullet points, memorizing them? How do you usually create the outline for one of these videos?
Dude, that's a great question. So I don't script anything. I tried that. So are you familiar with viral marketing?
I am.
So I started with viral marketing when I lived in Michigan, and they're awesome. Like, help you with your database, like get consistent with videos, blah, blah, blah. And so I would script it out, and I would look at my camera and read it, and it looked terrible. Like, it was so bad. And so, and I think a lot.
Were you reading off a teleprompter?
No, but like I get that question all the time. Like, what teleprompter app do you use? I'm like, I don't know. That's not for me. But what I would say is, like, you want to take people down a path. Like, you want to say, okay, I want to take the viewer, right? How can I create a video that's great for the viewer and take them from point A to point B? And so if you have an idea in your head of hey, I want to take them from point A to B, and throughout this conversation, I want to get 3 points across. One, where we're at, how much the house is, and the square footage. Everything else kind of comes to you, right? And so right when we're writing our outline for the video, it's just like, that's what we're saying. Like, hey, we want, the viewers that are looking to move to Orlando to give us a call if they're looking to sell a house. And in that, I want to tell these 3 things. And so if you can kind of like preload your mind with that, I think it helps you just kind of talk through. And that, hey, as long as I talk about these 3 things during this video, I'm good. And then from there, watching your videos back, and you get a cadence and kind of understand tonality and all that kind of stuff. It just comes with time.
Yeah. Again, back to practicing. Do you get feedback from outside people in your crew, your office, whoever, as you're kind of crafting these, if you're trying to learn how do you structure a script and outline?
Yeah, for sure. So there's lots of very good YouTube masterminds out there, like RETV. There's a bunch of good Facebook groups. Malcolm Lawson from Maryland runs one. I think he was on the other day with you guys. And so just throwing them out there, hey, give you some candid feedback, and then listen, like, don't take it personally. Like, right. You're going to ask for feedback, understand you're going to get some, and that's okay. Like, we all want to get better. And so, it's like role playing with expireds, right? Like, if you have somebody that can give you good candid feedback, it's just going to get you better. So send it out to anybody that you trust and that is going to give you like honest feedback, and then take it to heart.
I love it. All right. So last set of questions, anything else you want to cover, but you have some new sets of videos. It seems like I was looking at one that's Celebrity Homes of Orlando, very much like HGTV style. Like, not that your production budget went up, but it feels more like, we've got drone shots and we've got this, and it seems more like you're going bigger, not at least bigger budget feel, if not actually bigger budget. Is that a conscious decision? And for someone who talks about ROI, what's your idea with those type of videos?
So that was more like the discoverability, like, wow video. And that one didn't really even catch fire. Like, I'm about to change the thumbnail and try to relaunch that and put a budget behind it, because I'm kind of pissed that nobody's watching it. But like, that was
it's
like,
really cool. It's a cool video.
No, it is. Thanks, man. But no, the same guy that does all my videos shot that video, edited it. I just called around. I said, hey, different boat people in the area. I'm like, hey, who can give me a tour that might know the area? Like, I know a few of the big houses, but I found this dude was just like, hey, I do this part-time. I give a tour. It's $75 for the tour, and I'll tell you all about all the celebrity homes. I'm like, heck yeah, like, let's go. And so, yeah, we just brought our drone out there to fly it around, but same exact guy that does all my videos shot that one. So it cost me the same as me walking around a house.
I love it. And then in terms of discoverability, how do you craft that campaign? So this is a really good use case. I mean, I'm looking at your site. It's got 1,500 views, which isn't bad. But again, you said view count doesn't matter. It's more about response and engagement.
Yeah.
What are you going to do to change? You said you're changing the thumbnail. What are you going to do to craft a campaign around it in terms of paid traffic?
So for that one, I'm just going to go thumbnail and then change the title, change the description, and then track it over the next 30 days to see if we get anything more. From there, I'll go and dive into the keywords and figure out what people are searching for. Because again, it's more or less, I just want to attract people to my page so that they subscribe. And then later on down the road, hopefully they're looking to buy or sell, right? That's the bucket that we put stuff like that in. So there's like the very hyper-local lead gen video. And then there's the, hey, help find Ken, right? And so that's what that one's going to be under. So, but I will tell you, I went on a listing appointment today, and the lady's like, we follow you on Instagram. We're subscribed to your YouTube channel. We get your postcards. We love all of like that kind of stuff that you put out. And I'm just like, man, it keeps people engaged. It's not like, hey, you want to know what your house is worth, or did you see what mortgage rates are doing? Like,
right.
You can only do that so much and stay relevant in someone's life. And so, anyways, hopefully that answered your question.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you keep hearing people at conferences and events and trainers and gurus talking about, if you're not doing video, you won't be relevant in a few years in real estate. But it's stories like that, when you tell that, that's like, that's hard to compete with. Was this someone that you knew from your sphere, or just they had just stumbled upon one of these videos?
Organically found me, went onto my website to sign up to look at houses. So I thought they were a buyer lead, and then they weren't answering the phone. And then all of a sudden they called me like, hey, we're finally ready to sell this house. And then we are going to buy one. And then I get to their house and she's like, I feel like I know you. Like we follow you on Instagram, we're subscribed to your YouTube channel. And I'm just like, they're not interviewing other agents. That's a huge, huge deal.
Dude, that's you probably know the term, the parasympathetic response, right?
Right.
When people see you on the screen, their brain doesn't know the difference between seeing you on the screen or seeing you in person. Like it lights up on an MRI almost the same way.
Yeah.
And so you get that, they feel like they're friends with you because they've actually been hanging out with you. And you didn't even know it.
Yeah, that's 100%. And so the other piece around that is like, I look at it from, there's a coach that used to call, I forget what it is, but it's like the military by land, air, and sea, right? Yep. And so like I'm in their mailbox, I'm showing up on their Facebook, I'm showing up on YouTube. Like it's like a force multiplier effect. There you go. Yep. And so, man, it's just super powerful.
And how long went with this particular woman? How long went between when they registered and when you ended up on the listing appointment? Did you check
9 months?
That?
Yeah, 9 months. Yeah.
And zero contact.
Yeah, from original contact to listing agreement signed. And so that's the crazy thing. Like you're building. Let me before I get to ADD, going back 9 months. So I went in to put her into my system, and I'm like, she already exists. Like, this is weird. And then like, oh wow, yeah, she registered. And then I was able to reverse engineer where she came from. And what I tell my team all the time is like, we're building an asset that Zillow can't take away from me. And, other iBuyers can't take away from me, right? So we're building a huge database, treating it super well, giving it good content. We're building a big YouTube following. And I think that is going to set us apart going into the next phase of our industry.
Yeah, 100%. All right. I think this has been amazing, Ken. If you have anything, any other videos you want to play or share, anything else, are you feeling pretty good?
I think I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah. Feel free to jump on the page. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm super open to this stuff. I love learning and sharing what I'm learning. And there's a lot of people doing it way better than I am. Right. And so I think that's the cool thing is like, we're always pushing each other to do better. And, but I started off with, again, my cell phone and really, really crappy videos. So just go start.
And it didn't take very long. That's the one thing, Ken, I'll leave with you. So for anyone who wants to learn about Orlando, obviously go watch your YouTube channel. You can learn anything they ever want to know. But you've mentioned how much you love learning. I wasn't counting, but a lot during this webinar. But it shows, and that's how in such a short period of time, you've been able to create this content and really catapult yourself from like not working, generating money to like 200,000 the GCI just last year, and you're just getting started. Right. It's gonna be incredible.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for being on, Ken.
Yeah, dude. Thanks so much.
Yep. Have a good day.